Hi everyone, I'm Raynard Korf and welcome to the first part of the video series called Learn How to Use Facebook Properly, which is really an overview of the different privacy and security settings that you have available to you in Facebook. And I'm going to be working from a series of checklists that I've created for this series, and you'll find the first checklist below this video. So to kick us off, let's have a look to see what the first checklist looks like. So we're going to look at basic privacy settings, but maybe before we dig in, let's have a look at why privacy is so important and why we should be looking at changing our default settings. So I'm just going to open up Firefox. I'm going to go to Facebook, and you can learn more about Facebook's new interface called Timeline by going to www.facebook.com/about/timeline. And Facebook here is just really telling us what Timeline is about. You can have a look at the video. I'm just going to quickly scroll down and show you what's new. So this is the interface. We can see that we now have a big picture that sits behind our profile photo called the cover, which our profile photo still shows up here. We can actually change our cover if we click on different settings, and you can find that you can upload your cover. There should be an icon around here on your own page that you can change your cover. But just quickly going through the different things, you can see that the Timeline really captures stories of your life and lays it out for everyone to see. In a moment I'll be looking at some timelines and just show you how this works and why privacy does become a concern. Here's probably one area that you need to be concerned about is if you install third-party apps like, for instance, Netflix or Spotify or even some of the newspapers. Every time you read an article or watch a movie or highlight something or listen to a song, etc., all that activity starts to appear in your timeline. But we'll look at that a bit more in detail in another video. So you can get apps for your timeline that does all those automatic posting things for you. You can see what other people see when they look at your timeline, and I'm not going to scroll any further. I will show you which of my friends have already showed up for Timeline or signed up for Timeline. Now, Timeline, by the time you're watching this, will probably be rolled out, and everyone should have access to it. Now, why does Timeline raise a few concerns? I'm going to look at a couple of profiles. These people don't really care if their information is publicly made available because their business is being in the public. So the first one I'm going to look at is a guy called Leo Laporte. He's very big in the IT world in terms of bringing IT news, etc. Now this is his timeline, and you can see that he's actually showing quite a bit of information and giving us quite a bit of access to all the different things that he's doing. And on the right hand side here you can actually see that it goes all the way down through the years up to when he was born. Now if I click on born, it takes us down his timeline all the way to the bottom, and you can see that when he was born, and a picture of him and just a little bit more information about the date of his birth. Now he lists a few other items throughout his life over here, and we'll just bounce all the way back to the top to the now. You can also see that on his timeline it says here that I'm not one of his friends, but I can actually subscribe to his updates. And when I subscribe to his updates is going to show up in my news feeds. Now, this is only his public posts, so he can still hide some of his posts, but in general, I can see his public posts. And just to caution you, by default, when you sign up for Facebook, all your posts are public, and all people will be able to subscribe to you. So I'm just going to quickly click here on subscribe to subscribe to Leo, and then show you what it looks like in my newsfeed. So I'm here in my newsfeed, and you can see I've subscribed to Leo, and all of a sudden all Leo's information starts showing up here, and all different other people's information starts showing up in my newsfeed. Now, some of these people I'm not subscribed to, and I can subscribe to them. It's just public information, and I guess Facebook just wants to give me a little bit more info than just one person's. Now, that's fine. Leo allows me to subscribe to him, but by default, people can also send you messages. Now, if I go to another profile here for Amber Mac, you can see that I can subscribe to her, but I can also now send her a message. Now, this is because that's her choice of how people can connect to her on Facebook, and again, by default, anyone can send you a message on Facebook and even find your timeline. Now, we're going to look at changing these settings, and I just wanted to highlight these things to you before I start. Now, again, if I click on subscribe here on Amber, and I go back to my subscriptions, and I might just need to do a quick refresh. Okay, so you can see I've got more things here from Leo, and mixed in with that is updates from Amber, updates from Leo, etc. So you can see that now, even though I'm not their friends, I'll go back to Amber's timeline, you can see I'm not her friend, I can still subscribe to her public content. Now, again, by default, on Facebook, you're public. So let's have a look at changing that. Okay, so I'm on my timeline now, and you can see that I've actually hidden quite a few things, not because I necessarily want to hide what I'm doing on Facebook, but really because I'm protecting my friends, because some of their things will start appearing on my timeline as well. So you can see that I've blocked out my friends and blocked out a few things just for the sake of doing this video. Now, when you first view your timeline, you will see that there's two different ways to view Facebook. You can view Facebook by clicking on your name, which will give you your timeline, or you can click on home, which will give you something like my news feed, and you still have access to all your other feeds like you did in the past. Now, if I just go back to my timeline, you can see if I hover over here, I can change my cover image, so I can change what goes here. But let's get into the privacy settings. So going back to our checklists, or checklist 1 in specific, we're going to have a look at some of these things, and as I'm going through them, I'm going to tick them off. So first thing is we're going to change our default privacy settings for Facebook. So I'm quickly going to go to Facebook. Next to home, I'm going to click on this drop down box, and I'm going to select the option that says privacy settings. And this will now take me to my privacy settings. Now, it's very important that you read what Facebook puts on these pages for you. You can see that you can manage your privacy of your status. I'll just quickly highlight this. This is what I'm reading. You can manage the privacy of your status updates, photos, and information using the inline audience selector. I'll talk more about this in another video. And you can do this when you share or even afterwards. But it's important, this bit here that says remember. The people you share with can always share your information with others, and this includes third-party apps. Now, by default, like I said, your settings is to public and everyone can see all your posts. Now, I would highly recommend you either change this to your friends, or later on I'm going to look at some of the custom options that we have as well. So for now, I'm just going to leave this with friends, and now that I've changed it to friends, I can go back to my checklist and I'll go, yep, we've got the first one ticked off. So I'm only sharing my information with my friends. Now the next part here is we're going to control how people connect with you and how you connect with them. So under this bit here that says how you connect, I'm going to click on edit settings, and I'll just go through all these steps. So first one here is who can look up your timeline by name or contact information. Now here I've got mine set to everyone, but you might choose that it might only be friends of friends. So if you're a friend of someone, their friends can find your timeline information and your contact information. Or I might just say that just leave it with friends, which means no one can find me, and the only way that they can find me is if I make contact first. So I might just set, for now, for the purpose of this video, I'll set mine to friends of friends. Okay, who can send you friend requests? Now by default, everyone who finds your contact information can send you a request to be your friend. So I can either leave it on everyone, or I can say that only friends of my friends is able to send me a request to be their friend on Facebook. Now, by doing that, I've already ticked off 2 more on that sheet. I'll just keep going through these. Who can send you Facebook messages? Now, as you recall, with the difference between Leo's page and Amber's page, I could not send Leo a message because he would have set this to either one of these 2 settings. And Amber, on the other hand, I could send her a message because most likely she has left everyone this everyone setting by default. Now, again, for the sake of this video, I'll say friends of friends. Okay, so who can actually post on your timeline? This is very important. If I go back to, say, Leo's timeline, and I have a look at his timeline, if Leo didn't change his settings, I could easily come in here, and I'm not talking just about leaving a comment, but I can create a completely new post on Leo's timeline if he didn't have that changed. Now, let's quickly see on Amber's. Now, even on Amber's, she has changed the settings too, so that I can't just leave a post on her profile. It's a good idea to change the setting, because if you leave it as actually, you only have 2 options. You can either let your friends, allow your friends to add content to your timeline, or you can leave your timeline completely in control of you. So you're the only person who can add updates here. Now, this is handy because from time to time my friends might want to share things with me, but they share it on my timeline, which means all my friends see this, which probably would have been better if it was sent directly to me as a message rather than everyone seeing this. So again, this is up to you how you want to share this. For the sake of this video, I'm going to select only me. The last setting we've got here is who can see posts by others on your timeline. Okay, so if I allow people to post on my timeline, then other people will be able to see their posts. Now, I can choose whether my friends can see it, whether the public can see it, or whether only me can see it. So if I change the settings, say who can post on my timeline to friends, that allows my friends to post to my timeline, but I can now say only me. So what this does is it's not only your privacy that you're protecting here, you're actually starting to protect the privacy of your friends who's posting in your timeline. So maybe I will leave this one on friends, and I will leave this one on only me, and I will click on done. So by doing this, we've now actually ticked off quite a few things. I know who I've allowed to look at my timeline by name and contact information. That was that first setting in that how you connect bit. I know who I'm allowing to send me friend requests. I know who I am allowing to send me messages. I know who I'm allowing to post on my timeline. And if I'm allowing them to post on my timeline, I am protecting them by choosing who can see their posts. And the last one I'm going to look at now is that before Facebook has made these changes, all your posts have had a specific privacy setting, which by default is public. Now I can go and manage all my past posts up to the point where timeline was introduced. And if I click manage past posts, I can click here on limit posts. Now notice you can only do this once. So if I click on limit posts and I click on confirm, I'm going to now select whether it's the public, my friends, or another custom setting who can see all my past posts. Now, for now, I'm not going to confirm this. You might want to choose to confirm this and select it for friends, but I want to save this one-time only action for another video. So I'm just going to click on cancel. So once you've chosen who can see your past posts, we've actually gone through this first checklist and we've ticked off all the basic privacy settings. And please consider how you use Facebook. Sometimes you might actually want some of your information to be public. Other times you might want a little bit more control over it. And certainly if you've got friends posting on your timeline, you want to give them a little bit of privacy as well. So I'm going to stop this video here and I will see you in the next video.